and welcome to Busted Knees and Pretty Trees, your rainy day pod shelter with a love for yakking about trail packing, kayaking, probably some sidetracking, and a little bit of wisecracking. We appreciate y'all being here.
Yeah.
Here at Busted Pretty, we like to go on about getting those rumps in the backcountry, but as you know, a wide variety of circumstances can create barriers between you and that trailhead. Until you realize the barrier is just the back door, the front door. Hell, go out the stoke-generating side hatch. When you cross that threshold, you may not realize it, but you're out there now. There may not be a forest canopy overhead or the cool, salty mist of the crashing surf in your well-groomed mustache, but there's still plenty to discover. When we aren't able to pick up and go, we can still scratch that curious itch right here in the heart of our little city, Fort Wayne. And our guest today, who we are absolutely thrilled to have, is going to talk to us about this modern ecology found at the confluence of nature and urban development. It's a topic that we've been quite fascinated in because, well, it's our environment. I am Travis J. White. Across from me is a man that keeps his beloved Ashley well hydrated because this gentleman is a nice tall drink of water. Patty Richardson.
Yeah. That was awesome. God dang. I don't know how you write that. 6 hours in a hospital.
Sitting in a hospital.
Yeah. Okay. Valid.
And of course, our very own glass half full of water, Bradley Greer.
You would say I'm optimistic?
How's a glass half full? Oh, I fucked that one up. Glass half empty.
Hey, on a really good day, Brad is
I was
a half
spending
full
a
guy.
lot of time. I was tired at the hospital.
I don't think I'm pessimistic, though.
Me neither.
We'll have a conversation about that later.
What's a stokage side door?
Like coming out of a side hatch? Anywhere.
Like of
For
a
any
motorcycle?
reason. Like pop out. Bang.
Like a helicopter?
Yeah, I don't. What's a side
You don't know
hatch?
where I'm coming from.
No.
No.
Do you remember that Tenacious D song about him and Kyle Gass being in a hot tub and Jack comes out of the side hatch?
Is that where it came from?
I was at the hospital for a long
Good
time.
enough for me.
We're going to have to listen to this after.
Guys, we
Okay.
have a guest to get to.
Touche.
She
I'm not worried.
And she might leave if we don't stop. Our guest today comes to us from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. And what's really cool is she's the solo urban biologist on the squad. Please welcome Jessica Merkling.
Wahoo!
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, psyched to have you down here. I was so happy when you said yes, it sounds great. And then you were like, I'll come to your studio. And I was like, hell yeah.
And Brad and I were just like, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think you're probably our first guest that's come down to the studio that we didn't know personally.
Yeah.
Is that
Well, now
true?
we do, though.
Yeah.
We knew
The
her
connection for life.
as she got out of her truck. It was like, now we know her. Done. Done.
Yeah. I feel like you belong here.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, thank you for coming down. And you're also our first government official. Is that?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I work for state of Indiana.
So I know that you're associated with the DNR, but you're not a DNR agent or whatever, soldier, whatever they call
I'm
it.
actually glad you asked that because it's something that if you ever see me talk now, I actually incorporate it into my now to help guide it.
That's where, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the Department of Natural Resources, you have like the big Indiana Department of Natural. But what doesn't always get advertised is underneath there's actually multiple separate divisions underneath the department. So like I fall into the Division of Fish, Wildlife, and Nature Preserves. And then that is separate from Division of Law Enforcement. So like the conservation officers is what
Okay.
I'm
Officer.
guessing you're trying to
Officer.
get to, conservation officer.
That's right.
Which
Not
is
soldier.
separate from like Division of Forestry, which is separate from Division of State Parks,
Yeah.
which is separate from Division of Water. So there's like a lot of different divisions.
Right.
But so I fall within the Fish, Wildlife,
And how did you? We'll get into a lot of the meat and potatoes after our break, but I'm just curious. As like, I'll just start with one.
Go
Can I
ahead.
start with
Yeah.
one? I got plenty. What led you to urban wildlife biology? Like it, that's a very niche.
Did it start early? Was it what drew it to you?
So, luck and opportunity, I think. I grew up Northeast Indiana, so I was born in Fort Wayne, but I grew up in Rome City. And growing up in my family, like
Which
hunting-
isn't a city, by the way.
technically, no, it's not.
It's
I think
kind of
it's a
more
town.
urban.
I think it's a town. No, yeah, it's
Or
not urban. Yeah.
rural.
Yeah, it's pretty
town
rural.
of Rome City.
And so like in my family, growing up hunting and fishing and camping and going out walking outside, that was pretty normal for me.
Nice.
So like I actually came into a conservation job very non-traditionally. I actually, went through high school thinking I was going to be a physical therapist. I loved it. That's what I did my senior project on. I actually went to the University of Indianapolis intending to go into a physical therapy program, which my sister eventually did. She has her DPT from there, but I went there. And I don't know if you guys have this, but I have a very good memory, but there's few conversations. I'm not sure how I got to where I am there, but I had
I got that problem too.
my advisor. I said, yeah, I'm going to declare exercise science as my major so that I can go into the physical therapy school. And he goes, I just don't think you want to do that. He goes, I think you should leave it undeclared and let me know if you don't want to just do general biology. So he knew something I didn't. And before the first semester was even over, I'm like, yeah, I think I want to do a biology degree. So like going into a school that's designed for physical therapy and then changing to a biology degree. And then it's not, it's not like a Purdue or a Ball State where you assume wildlife.
Right. Man, what a lucky gig. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always the teachers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had, and she knows Dr. Jordan Marshall.
Yeah.
And we had the little conversation about just how one of the things that he's most happy about is just seeing these people in his class and then go into biology, go into sciences, whatever that conservation, whatever that looks like. But it's just always the teachers.
That's kind
Jaden's
of-
story was his teacher.
Yep.
And it's just
We
so
had
many.
Yeah.
Patty's high school teacher on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
It was just
Really?
an incredible conversation.
That's awesome.
His
Burnworth.
biology teacher.
Okay.
He's awesome. And and I guess I'm one of those stories where it just so happened that I'm just doing a podcast way later in life, but he definitely sparked that for me.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so
You can
good.
tell how he would.
Yeah.
He's just such a great, incredible person that just gets you involved.
I
and
agree.
makes it fun.
All right. We got a boatload to get into. I want to ask about 40 more questions, and I'm sure you guys are locked and
It's
loaded
so
with
weird
yours
not
as well.
waiting for the
News
for the
Panther.
News Panther.
I know.
I do. There is one thing. I always find it interesting how every state, like you're in the Division of Fish and Wildlife within the Department of Natural Resources, but then a lot of states it's like the Alabama Fish and Wildlife.
Yeah.
It always interests me how different every state's.
Yeah.
Wow, so what do you mean?
Do they have a different name? They call
They do.
themselves something different.
And I think you mentioned it on the Florida one. It's like Fort Wayne Game Commission or something like that. There's like game
yeah.
commissions. It's very,
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, I've noticed that, but I
Is
don't know
that
the answer.
unique to Indiana?
Not necessarily.
acronym?
Like, because I think it's Michigan DNR and like I think
Okay.
Wisconsin, Ohio
Yeah.
DNR.
We stick together.
Illinois.
We stick
DNR.
together.
So Midwest has DNR.
Possibly.
It seems like, yeah.
Oh.
Is
I
that kinda
actually don't
like
know.
the
That's a good question.
Yeah.
BMV
That's
and
what
DMV?
that's what interests me. Like every time I'm looking up stories, I always have to stop and realize, oh, that's their state. Like
And
wildlife.
it's like Texas Parks and Wildlife, so it's very different.
Yeah.
Like it's really
It's
interesting.
really- It's really
I
interesting.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is now I'm gonna be
So you always-
paying
like, I
I
attention.
always-
kind of
you-
like Texas Parks and Wildlife.
Yeah.
That
That is
really
sweet, dude.
flows.
Yeah.
Yes, they've had like the longest functioning urban program. I think they are like the OGs of urban ecology
wow.
for a state agency.
Wow.
Dang, Texas.
And they have some crazy like African game animals.
Texas has
roaming.
everything.
Yeah, like they have all kinds of crazy stuff.
Huh.
Yeah,
Look
Can
at me
we-
learning stuff. We just had a mini news panther.
yeah. There we go.
Hey, cool. I
Wait,
just
what?
learned a little
Travis
something.
called it the 1 week Travis Teasies.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I got not a Travis Cheesy,
Oh.
but a Travis query
Oh,
Oh, okay.
that came up to me earlier when we in conversation before we started, and is Boromir the highest paid birder?
Whoa. Yes, I'm going to go yes.
Yeah?
I don't know if he's getting paid much right
I don't
now.
know. There's probably some National Geographic photographers that are getting some.
Yeah, but they're not
freaking
Boromir.
cheese, bro.
And Ned Stark, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
a good
pay
question.
artists.
Yeah.
You only pay actors.
All right, we're digressing again. I want to get into these questions. What do you say we take a break, come back, and go in?
Yeah, sounds
All right.
good.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We have Jessica Merkling in the house, urban wildlife biologist, not a DNR officer.
Yeah.
Officer?
Not a military soldier.
Right.
As
Thank
you
you.
thought.
I don't know why I said soldier. My brain was clicking and I couldn't come up with anything. We have a lot of questions, and Travi, I know you always like to kick this off with one of your questions. So you go to town, buddy.
Yeah, Jessica, like we always kind of get down to the nitty gritty of it right off the bat. You've chosen a profession where you have to, study nature and all that stuff. Like, I'm like, your job's pretty freaking sweet from my perspective, but at the very core of what we always ask is like, what keeps you going out there? What keeps you curious? What's that little thing that
It'd be funny if you're like my job.
My job that I like have to
overcomplicate that question. I need to
You
standardize.
asked
It's
a real
really
Patrick
interesting.
question.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because I feel like a lot of people, with the state agency, the other district biologists, or in the conservation, I know they say this everywhere, but like truly you have people that you just love it.
Right.
Like you can't help it. And
It's hard to
so
explain.
selfishly, it allows me to learn more. And one of my coworkers said this to me and it really meant a lot to me. And he said, I appreciate you because if you don't know, you will ask and you won't lie about it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that because I feel like he's one of those people that he has taught me a lot. And, just earlier today, I was like, hey, I don't even know how this works. What do I need to do for it? I had so many people around me that could teach me, and it's so cool for me to learn something new. So selfishly, I get something out of it. But then it's also cool to I think conservation is sometimes a fraught conversation. And at the Midwest conference that was here in January, one of the keynote speakers was like, do you become the person that it's horrible to take a walk in the woods with because you're pointing all the invasive stuff or all this other stuff? And I was like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But then you realize okay, and then you teach someone else, kind of helping other people find what they like. I love snakes. I think they're really cool. But that's not everyone's cup of tea. So it's kind of cool to you can kind of navigate it to what you like. And I like letting people feel empowered that they can find the cool in nature that I find.
There's something out there for everyone for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you ever been involved in the DNR Master Naturalist program?
No, I want to be, but I haven't. The time commitment and the funding for me to do it is kind of hard right now.
Yeah.
But I've talked at some of those, but I genuinely also want to take and learn.
Right,
so.
yeah. That's what we've been talking about. We need to go through that.
And
that would be awesome.
And each county does function a little differently. So I'm not actually very up to date on how involved county's Master Naturalist program is, but I know, for example, Elkhart counties is really active.
Oh, nice.
So it just kind of depends.
How about Wells County?
I don't know.
Well, I think we need some street cred, so we need to start thinking about that.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably looking for someone to head it up.
Yeah, they probably
there
are.
we go.
If they
Hattie.
don't, what? No, what, me? No, I want to learn, but I don't want to do that. Nope, nobody wants me teaching classes. I guarantee it. Urban wildlife biologist, urban wildlife, and specifically in 2026, I imagine we have just been expanding and expanding and expanding. So I guess from when you started or when urban wildlife biology kind of became something, where are we at? How's that changed now from when you started? Are you seeing a dramatic increase in urban and not wildlife?
So it's complicated. So when I started full time in 2017. And in 2015 is when Indiana DNR chose to start the urban wildlife program. And at that time, they had a North Urban and South Urban biologist. So actually, Indiana was pretty progressive on having that urban
Yeah.
program.
Was there anything in particular that triggered that?
I don't know. That would have been before.
Yeah.
I think there's a trend for like addressing these urban areas. So then when I came on 2017, I kind of followed the previous urban wildlife biologist. She was fantastic, taught me a lot. But when she left, I was kind of finally freed up to kind of figure out some things on my own. And then through that, I kind of learned, I have 3 primary urban areas, but they don't all function the same. Urban areas across the board don't function the same. They
Yeah.
have different needs. And then I also learned, okay, well, it's not necessarily lack of habitat. Sometimes it's just different habitat or different wildlife species than what you would expect to find in like an urban area.
Yeah.
Or sometimes in urban areas, we're actually creating habitat for some wildlife. So they're functioning well, and everyone typically makes the argument, well, there's no place for them to go, which is true for some species. But for
Yeah.
some species, you're probably just creating more habitat. So it's kind of like this idea, there's not any place that's not some type of habitat for something. It's just kind of like what that habitat is and then how the humans and wildlife interact when they're in that urban
And
environment.
I feel like the more we talk to the people that are out there studying this stuff, like this stuff isn't this regional thing. Like there's those, like the manatees at the power plant. There's these, small little ecosystems that exist that would not exist outside of human intervention or whatever.
What is urban wildlife biology in your definition?
So for what I use, that interaction of human and wildlife and how that interaction is influenced by the built environment. So, more green, not green infrastructure, but like the gray infrastructure, buildings, more heavily populated by people.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and like Indiana, everyone thinks of it as a rural state, and it is pretty rural, but like realistically, it's a heavily populated rural state. So, because you have like, Indian Fort Wayne, but then you also have
Chicago.
Evansville, you have the, Mishawaka's, you have so you have a lot more of these, like you have New Havens, you have these bigger
Mhm.
cities throughout. So they're still function as like urban spaces, even though they're not, can't see my air quotes.
Yeah.
The urban spaces
Yeah,
by
like
definition.
the Indiana side of Louisville is like
exactly.
a big part of the city. There really is a lot more urban areas in Indiana than now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, and in my opinion, it just keeps happening more and more. We've done stories or the News Panthers about like grizzly bear populations or wolves or all those different species on the west, coyotes, where they're just like people are building these neighborhoods and they're moving into kind of their area, and then talking about how those bears are invasive or those coyotes are invasive.
Yeah.
And for me, it just always kind of feels like, I don't know. Like, I think if you move to this area and this species have been there for, millennia or whatever, then it's kind of like you're bad. Like you did that.
Well, and it's also kind of like this misconception that there's wildlife that's not going to be here, right? So like coyotes are a really good example.
Yeah.
I get calls all the time. There's a coyote in my neighborhood, and I'm like, yes, probably.
Yeah.
And,
And foxes. And,
So like, I think about like Chicago has a very healthy coyote population. LA
No
has
shit.
a very healthy coyote population. So like,
we did a
Fort Wayne
story
and
on
Indy,
Chicago's coyotes.
Yeah.
yeah. So like, they have healthy. So like, Fort Wayne's not different.
Yeah,
South
yeah.
Bend's not
Yeah.
different. Like, there's coyotes, yes.
And they're
Like
not.
you shouldn't be so surprised when you see
Yeah.
Right,
you
that's
know.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
you step into a boxing ring, don't be surprised that there's a boxer
punched in
in
the
there.
face?
But that there's another boxer in the ring. I'm just saying, like, it sounds weird.
Well, and like Fort Wayne has a famous peregrine falcon nest on
Yes.
the tallest building downtown.
Yeah.
Yes.
That,
And it's awesome. I was
always
watching the
loved-
video the other day, and I love how it has the sign on the side that says "Donate to here."
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it's so,
yeah.
it's so
The
good.
non-game wildlife fund, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
really?
I would
Ah.
assume so.
I
think
like
so,
that.
Yeah.
Are you
It's pretty
seeing?
cool.
Are you seeing kind of an uptick in towns? I know you've been working at this for a long time, and I guess primarily in Indiana. Are you seeing an uptick in communities, cities, towns doing more for green spaces, or is it worse and worse and worse?
I feel like there's more interest for sure. I definitely feel like because I've stayed so long in the space that I'm in, I've seen like more interest, more asks. It could also be a symptom of people know to contact me now, but I do think there's bigger interest. I think the hardest part is like traditional conservation funding for private landowners traditionally focuses on those large tracts of land. And it can be really hard to fund like a typical backyard habitat in an urban.
Yeah.
So even though I'm here for technical assistance, I can always do that. It doesn't always come with funding, which is unfortunate. And we're definitely discussing and working on it, but that can be.
Do these communities or municipalities, do they reach out to the DNR, or is this something that you're trying to figure out, like what this city can do best with their nature?
Sure. So like a lot of it is the landowner just reaches out to me.
Yeah.
I can talk to him blue in the face. I do a lot of times where I do a whole management plan and then people choose.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. But like I can do everything but force you to do it. So it's more like I wait for them to contact me if they're interested. I'm always happy to have a conversation, and then it's just kind of deciding, we just had a site visit today with this lovely woman where we had to like say, we're going to throw a lot of information at you, but like you still ultimately get to choose what you want to do with your property and think about what you want to do. So we'll give you the information and let you kind of digest it, and you let us know what works for you. So ultimately we're supporting the private landowner with what they want to do with their property.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had a big wooded lot in the country, I would call you up and say, how do I get more warblers here?
Yeah, you would.
Yes.
Sir.
Which is perfect because my coworker just taught me about warbler neck because I told you I'm trying to get into birding. And I was like, warbler neck.
It's a real thing.
Oh, it is a real
And then it can
thing.
turn into warbler back real quick.
I'm still suffering from warbler back. I can tell you that right now.
It's honestly probably good because I'm actively working to, do
your
the
posture.
opposite.
Birding is good for your posture.
Somewhat until for the next week
It might
afterwards.
overcorrect.
Yeah, overcorrect.
I got tennis elbow from my lens, from opening and closing my lens so much.
Get John Hopkins too.
Yeah, or no, what's the pitchers get? Tommy John.
Tommy John.
Tommy John.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I think
Johns
so.
Hopkins, the hospital.
Travis, you kind of made a comment that it's structuring their nature like in cities and towns, but I watched a presentation with her, and it's not what they're. Sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth,
You're fine.
but it's not necessarily nature that like we're building little natural spots. I mean, most certainly it is.
Okay.
But what I find curious about what she's doing some of is the species that are learning to use man-made structures.
Right, yeah.
In what we're in how their species survives. So I think that's quite interesting. Like the peregrine falcon, for instance, it's living on top of our tallest building downtown Fort Wayne.
House sparrows living generation
your
after
gutter.
generation in my
your
gutters.
In your gutters. Yeah, exactly.
It's an invasive species.
I think that's cool.
And I'm okay with
yeah.
I've seen
mean-
videos where tree sparrows, like they'll put sparrow nets around a building, and then the sparrows will chew through those and turn that into their nest.
That's funny.
That's kind of funny.
I'm curious to these towns. One reason is because we're birding, and Connorsville or around that area just became Birdtown USA, and there's a big kind of, I think Lindenwood Nature Preserve is part of Birdtown.
Yeah, I've been
USA.
seeing the sign, like Matea, I think
Matea has
sign,
one.
Yeah.
Yep, I saw that as well. And what that is, after looking into that, is just it's not for like 6 months they put a lot of effort towards something. It's for like years
Yeah.
of effort, not just by a single group, but by the community and education and all this stuff. So I guess that's a really long way. That's a patty way of asking do you find that when these towns are doing more for urban wildlife, that it's the city management and the city leaders, or is it just property owners
It's
or smaller groups?
most of what I'm seeing is I see the trend more for like private landowners trying to do it. So like the bird town, I
okay.
actually just had a meeting last week to learn more about bird towns.
Oh, sweet.
So there's also like how active they are and things like that. But a lot of it's, there's a lot of private landowners that care, that want to do something, but you have to kind of also work within, local ordinances and rules and regulations like that. And navigating that is a fun challenge to try and think about in these. So like, it's something new for me to think about, like, oh, I never thought about that. I mean, I'm an urban biologist who grew up very rural and still lives rural, but like, it's been very educating for me and eye-opening for me to be like, oh, this is what they're talking about.
Does private landowners include land trust, like acres or?
Yeah. So when I say private landowners, I typically mean non-state or federally owned.
Okay.
So it could be like local municipal. Typically, things like acres, they have their own stuff going on, so they don't really
Oh yeah,
need
true.
my
Yeah,
help. But
yeah, they have like the local professors at colleges helping them.
Have you? Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you find yourself working mostly in? You're mostly in Northeast Indiana or northern Indiana, right?
yeah, so my technical primary focal areas, if you look on the website, are Fort Wayne, South Bend, Elkhart, and some of the smaller surrounding cities. We did formerly have an Indianapolis biologist, but that's the position that was vacant. Doesn't look like it's going to be filled anytime in the near future. So realizing I'm one human and can't make it to all these places,
Right.
those are my focal areas because I'm here and that's what my position was designed for. But then I do try to help in other urban areas as I'm able. I have great district biologists in other counties that they work with me and each other
That
to
would
help
be
out.
so much fun. Like, what's going on down there? What you got going on down there?
What's it? Because Travis said this, and now you're painting this glorious picture. But I got to imagine that being the sole proprietor of urban wildlife within the northern part of Indiana is daunting. So,
Some days.
and I've watched and I've read so many journals that you've written or articles that you've written, speeches that you've given. You're doing a lot. So, what is like your day? You know?
It really depends. It's really fluctuating. I don't know. Today I went out and I went to a landowner visit. We talked for an hour, walked her property. And then I came back and mostly answered a lot of phone calls and questions about wildlife today.
Really?
That was most of my day to day. But sometimes it's writing management plans during deer season. Sometimes it's helping sample.
Would you rather be
for
in the field?
CWD?
Yeah, like CWC. Like if they drop off, because the drop off coolers and things like that,
Oh, we did.
She's not a DNR stormtrooper, Patrick.
No, but you made a mention how fun it would be just to be like, oh,
It
what's
would
going
be.
on down there?
Go
But
around
like,
talking.
this woman is the sole proprietor, as I
Yeah.
stated. Like, that's a lot.
Could we get on one of those, like a cops, except
Oh, like in the
gosh.
back and we'll just
we just
video
come
record.
video?
We'll plant a snake in somebody's yard.
Yeah.
They'll get guys like me that are morel mushroom hunting too early in the day.
I mean,
need to get out of here. It's
if you ever
turkey
want to come
season.
out, like it's at the mercy of the private landowner, but if you're interested, we can try and talk it out. But
They're mainly interested in the birds, but
Don't worry, just a couple nerds out here staring up into the sky. Oh, look, a turkey vulture again. Cool. I just find it fascinating, the urbanization and then the wildlife side of this. And as I stated, I read a lot of stuff and watched a lot of what you did, and a lot of what you're looking at is invasive species and coyotes primarily, and a lot of other species you were going over.
coyotes, deer, and Canada geese are my top heavy.
Oh,
hitters.
Canada
Those are your
Geese.
highest.
Yeah,
Canadian geese?
for 6 years, I wrote Canada goose permits. It's now shifted to the permitting team, but
Really?
what do they call it? When you get a permit to like take them out, depredation.
I don't know.
there's-
Don't look at me,
it's-
bro. You
it's-
have
a lot of
over
times
here.
it's under depredation permits,
Yeah.
but yeah, so
Do you have to have special qualifications for that?
you have to have the right permits.
I recently learned like mute swans you can get depredation tags for.
You don't even so mute
Like-
swans are an invasive species
Yeah.
because they're horrible for the environment, but they're
Really?
basically a charismatic megafauna that a lot of people like. It's a big,
Yeah.
beautiful bird. It really
Yeah.
is. But if you look at them, they're hard on like trumpeter swans that are native swans that are actually state endangered. If you look where they're from, like the Europe and Asia, their populations are fine where they're from.
That
But
makes me
Yeah.
wonder.
yeah,
Say there is an invasive animal that the people adore, but it's
tricky.
destroying.
Oh yeah, like the
other
mute swan.
natural
Mute swan's a very
Yeah.
hard conversation.
Imagine if you had a swan in your flood pond behind your house in one of these like neighborhoods.
And a lot of people, you think like the invasive plants, people will like love those. But I think for me, the calls that I get about invasive species that they don't want removed is the mute swan. Now, a mute swan on private property can be removed at any time without a permit as long as you're following
Oh.
local ordinances. But if it's on like a public property, you would need to get a permit for that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
See, like in this HOA had gotten a permit to take them, But it was also like he was talking like, well, and I'm
It's
sure,
emotional. It's emotional.
yeah,
It really
like,
is.
and I'm sure this wasn't how it was supposed to go down, but he saw like one of the landscapers that were mowing, like throwing rocks at a swan. And it was like, we got a tag, bro, to kill this thing. And he's just like chucking rocks at this mute swan.
Yeah, and that's hard too because like I said, I'm a consumptive user. I grew up hunting and fishing, but like ultimately, I still want as humane of treatment as you can.
Right.
Like,
Don't be.
Yeah.
You
You
weren't
probably
out
hit
there
a-
slingshotting a
Yeah.
deer.
yeah.
I was just thinking, like in my head, what's the cleanest way to kill a swan?
Yeah.
Well, and then that's the unique part of like the urban
Machete?
stuff, right? Like everyone, if you talk about someone who has like somebody in the back for you, a lot of it's like just shoot it, but
Yeah.
that's not it. Like even if people wanted to in urban settings,
Yeah.
like a lot of times there's ordinances that prohibit that, and
Yeah.
then what you're left with is a lot more intimate, and that can be really hard. Like I am okay supporting that if that's what needs done, but I recognize why that's really hard for some people to do.
Oh, yeah.
Not only did you fire a weapon illegally within
In the
state
city.
and city limits,
Yeah.
but you killed a beautiful animal.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Coyotes. Are coyotes invasive?
From everything that I have talked with and read and talked with my coworkers on, they're not invasive.
Isn't that interesting? I
There's-
actually knew the answer that you were going to
Okay,
say
good.
because
I
of
was
one of the videos I
I
watched.
kind of assumed they were.
I think-
See, the way people talk about coyotes and interact with coyotes, I mean, people shit themselves when there's
They
a coyote
do.
walking downtown.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
bro.
love-
People are very,
Yes.
very nervous about them. And I think,
Because they're
This-
little toy dogs.
Like
well,
normal.
a lot of people assume that they're bigger than they are. And that's,
Yeah.
and it's this, I mean, and that's the other thing that like I find so fascinating. I kind of take for granted, like, a coyote doesn't personally scare me, but like I forget
Right.
that, you've had stories of the big bad wolf, and I think of was it the Nothing on the Never Ending Story? That's the stuff we're
Oh,
like
yeah.
putting in people's
Oh,
minds. So they're
yeah.
like terrified. And I'm like, well, yeah, if that's what we've been projecting all this time. It's
Yeah.
always the big bad wolf that's going after Little Red Riding Hood or the Three Little Pigs. And
That's true.
so it's like this.
Propaganda.
Disney.
But it
Thanks.
is always weird when you
It's
see a
not-
coyote
it's
because
way before Disney. Right?
I always have to think to myself, what is that? It's really small. And like, oh shit, that is a coyote.
Yeah.
Like they're surprisingly small.
I just think it's interesting that it's not considered. I'm glad, but I think it's interesting that it's not considered an invasive species. When like,
but isn't there
mute
like a
swan
limited
is.
take? Like you can, isn't
Are
there's
coyotes?
yeah, like for private probably.
So coyotes are quote unquote a nuisance animal. I don't love the term because if you say a nuisance animal, it kind of has this connotation automatically. It's a bad animal if you
Yeah.
have it.
Right.
But it is what it's called in our laws, the rules and regulations.
Is
so-
that because it disturbs the human?
I don't know.
The nuisance too.
Yeah.
I don't know why they chose that wording, but I think typically if you think nuisance animals, there are traditional fur-bearing mammals, which
Yeah.
they're traditionally hunted and used for fur. But there's the option for landowners to remove them on their property if they're causing issues at any time without a permit, so long as they're following local ordinances.
Yeah.
But then there's also a season on them. So when we talk about like how conservation's funding, yes, I think removal is sometimes necessary, but I would much rather see like a hunting or trapping license sold because at least that
Oh,
way
yeah.
you're buying into that conservation.
Oh,
model.
I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like how some states will ban hunting a certain animal, but then they have to pay their local agencies to go out and kill them to keep them under their numbers, or to keep them from not overpopulating, or like nuisance issues where when you could have a hunter paying to buy a tag to go out and hunt
Is
that animal.
nuisance-
Or
And a-
bullet. Or
Yeah.
Is nuisance an official tag you put on an animal?
You don't have to put a tag on it. There's just certain species that are considered quote unquote nuisance. So
Yeah.
like I think there's 11 species. So like coyotes, raccoons, possums, gray fox, red fox.
possums?
groundhogs.
So groundhogs technically fall under a different section. So
Oh,
it's
dang.
super confusing.
Pain in the ass?
So they're an unregulated species. So they're the same as like moles or red squirrels.
Is it because they're just so populous? It doesn't really
I don't know
matter.
how they determined it. I really don't.
You could kill 100 groundhogs in a day. And
There's
you
there's
ain't
not a
gonna
bag
make
limit.
dent.
There's not a bag limit or anything like that on groundhog.
What would you say are like the top 3 or 2 nuisance animals that you deal with the most?
Canada geese is number one by far.
Wow.
That makes sense.
That makes
That
sense.
does kind of make sense.
Well, I didn't know this until I don't know if you know Betsy Yankovic from Little River when she used to be at Little River.
No.
Allen County.
No, we don't. We have a little bit of a bone to pick. They've
They don't
ghosted us.
answer our emails.
They don't
yeah.
answer our emails, but we'll get them one day.
You'll go one day.
Yeah.
But Allen County, I didn't realize until she taught me this. Allen County is the only county in Indiana that has 5 river systems running through it.
Oh, wow.
So
The Little River,
Wabash.
Mommy, Wabash.
St.
not
Joe.
Wabash.
Yeah,
I don't-
Wabash is way south.
I think it's Eel,
Oh,
St. Mary, St. Joe,
yeah, St. Joe.
Mommy, and then
what about the 8 Mile?
Sweet.
And that's the watershed, right? Little River, Mississippi to Lake Michigan watershed.
I didn't know that.
depends on what level you're looking at, and I
Yeah.
don't even know how to help you with that because there's different levels of
That's what we call
watersheds.
drive-by science.
Doesn't it?
Clack, 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 clack,
Doesn't
clack.
it all split right there at Eagle Marsh?
That's
That's
what
what
I
you
thought.
drive by
I'm
science.
totally going
man.
to call
They-
that drive-by
Well,
science
they
from
have
now on.
and in my defense, they have a board at the front of Eagle Marsh that says that.
It's like is it the Continental Divide or no? No,
It's something. It's like
Yeah.
I thought it was a watershed where
Yeah.
everything on this side
Yes.
goes to the Mississippi watershed. Everything on that side goes to Lake
Erie?
Michigan watershed.
Yeah.
Well, there's an
Whoa.
Erie. Because the Erie River goes to the Erie.
That must be maybe a different river.
the Lake Erie
Um,
watershed.
Yeah,
There's two. Yeah, there's two. I don't know how it works.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I think we need to delete this part of the podcast.
Sorry.
Especially what you just said.
That's the main reason. If I'm wrong, delete it. If you guys are wrong, I don't care.
Okay, this is going to be a long-winded question because I wrote down some stuff, so I'm going to read it straight from my notes. As a birder and wildlife lover, last year we took the step to plant all native species plants, which is why I watched that speech of yours. Jay Roselle, do you know Roselle Landscaping? He is a great human. Gosh,
That's
darn,
awesome.
he wants to come backpacking with us. I told
Oh,
you.
he
when
would be probably fun for that.
Oh, so fun! And he's a little bit older than us. And he came over for the initial inspection or
Jeez,
whatever.
call him out.
Oh, I don't think you care, but we sat for probably an hour and a half and talked backpacking and how he used to be into it and none of his buddies do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was super fun. Anyway, we got him over here. My brother used him, and then that's how we got kind of hooked up with him. Anyway, I planted those so I can get native insects. I could get birds back there.
Yeah.
And also everything in our backyard's edible, from our apple trees to the raspberry, lavender, everything. Everything in our
Rag much?
backyard you can put in your mouth. It's wonderful. Or smell. The lavender smells great.
The ego is huge.
So, sorry.
Did you put it in a way like Birch, how they had that lavender yoga section?
No, but it's right next to my patio. So when the breeze is going, you just smell strong lavender.
Even better.
It's so nice. One of the reasons I did that is so I could attract those birds and stuff. I keep getting confused. But I know we've had discussions on here about bird feeders, and you talk about how you absolutely despise bird feeders.
I've changed my tone since then a little bit. I did. I
She
did.
is not a proponent for bird feeders, y'all.
I am not a proponent of feeding
Or
wildlife,
wasn't.
period,
Yes.
in general. But now I'm recognizing like the number one pastime for folks for wildlife engagement is birds on feeders.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
probably
why-
correct.
So that's why like I've learned to
I
say it in a
totally
nicer way.
understand that because you want people to be exposed to it, but you don't want,
it's challenging because I think when people think of like helping wildlife, they only ever think of the food. Like baby
Right,
birds
right.
cannot eat seed. They
Right,
can't.
yeah.
They need like 95% insect protein. So like when you plant like native plants, then you're doing the habitat. So it's the food, it's the
Right.
shelter, it's
Yep.
the space to get from point A to point B. And likely in Allen County, you're gonna have water nearby anyway.
Because of our
Yeah.
our visit to Mary Gray Bird Sanctuary, they talked about piling up like sticks and stuff so that bugs can crawl around on that, and the birds love that
Oh yeah.
stuff.
So, thank you for that, Travis.
And I did
I'm
that.
sorry for
I did
cutting
that
you
in
off
my
there. I didn't mean
in
to.
my backyard.
So like
Yeah.
a brush pile.
Not a great. It's not aesthetic.
Did you
by any
do that
means.
before or after you learned that it was a good thing to do?
After?
But then it can be also challenging though, because you have like these ordinances about plant height. So like there's a lot like they'll say your plants can't be so high, you must mow, or like I've
Right,
had
yeah.
communities where brush piles were a huge thing. So like that's the other fun part of navigating is like getting all the ordinances in the same place is what's good for the habitat while also maintaining where people have to live. So it's
I'm gonna build a
definitely-
fence so nobody can see that shit. Do whatever the hell I want.
You should build a fence. That way we can celebrate all the things in your backyard.
Yes,
and
that'd be
not
great.
be bothered. You know what I mean?
Privacy fence.
Privacy fence. That's right.
Yes.
So, is there a line? I for our listeners, I've kind of two questions. One, is there a line in your sand where you draw between where feeding wildlife moves from kindness to harm? And then, is there any if people are putting out bird feeders, and you can say it under your breath as well if you want, if you're just talking shit, if you got a bird feeder, then take it out by Labor Day or whatever. I don't know what
I say
what
lay it
is,
out.
but
Be honest.
is there
I'm
any,
a lot of things, but I'm not a liar.
Is there anything kind of
So the hardest part for me is, there's no state rule against feeding wildlife at any point in time. But if you think of the trouble that I get with bird feeders is, let's say you think about, you're trying to feed your songbirds, right? But then they're messy eaters. They get seed everywhere. And then if you think of the things that come to eat the seed and the things that come to eat the things that eat the seed, that's when you get the panic of oh my gosh, there's a coyote. What do I do now? And then sometimes you're attracting maybe it's I don't know if groundhogs, but maybe it's a groundhog or something like that. You're attracting something that you didn't mean to attract with that food. So then it becomes a conflict, and then you're asking me how to get rid of it. And so most of the time, if you're calling me and there's food involved, my first recommendation is
get the food out?
Get the food out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched a Cooper's hawk eat a blue jay that he took off.
Yes, I've had that call. I've had someone tell me they were so mad at me. They put up a bunch of bird feeders and they said that a hawk was picking off all the songbirds. I said, probably. You said the
that's
buffet.
awesome.
And then
Yep.
she got so mad at me and said, you don't understand. It's raining bloody feathers. And I'm like, I believe you. I am not questioning.
Cooper's hawks are brutal. That's
They're-
what they do.
Yeah.
It seems so just throughout all this stuff, and it just seems so to me, all this.
What do you mean?
Well, us moving into territory, that I've had
yeah.
these discussions before with you guys,
Yeah.
us moving into territory where species live and then
and-
complaining about the species that are there, and then feeding birds, and then complaining to Jessica that there's a Cooper's hawk snatching up
It's
the
a
birds.
story as old as time.
Get off your
think
thing.
what
those
really-
damn
Do the
wolves.
right- just
Those
learn.
damn buffalo.
How about just learn?
I
Just
think
learn.
what
to
really
live.
sucks is they cut all the trees down now too with every neighborhood.
Development's
That's right.
definitely
So
rampant right
gross.
now.
From insurance, I think is the reason.
Really?
Home insurance.
Oh,
And that's
so-
definitely something I know I happen to listen to the Dorado episode, but man, if I had a bunch of trees blowing up my property, I'd be thinking about it too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
In South Bend, they have a ton of crows hanging out in their property, their city now during winter because they're doing the whole big gatherings in South Bend. And one of the options is to cut down trees. So that's hard too. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's always figuring out what you want to balance.
Where does it's you can build these buildings in these urban spaces, but you have to do maintenance, otherwise they will fall to the ground. And nature is the worst thing for buildings and structures and all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I agree, but
It's hard.
I guess it
It's
is
a
And
balance. Yeah.
Maybe if it's something where you had something destroying your home, but I don't know. I just feel I love it. I want more trees. If a tree lands on my house, and it doesn't hurt
Surprise, I'm
anybody,
willing to
then
pay.
screw it.
Yeah.
Dude. You know what I mean? I'd rather
Yeah,
be
if it's
just-
right over your bedroom, Bazzy's bedroom.
Yeah.
But if you,
I mean, I know.
but it's if you ever go to Bicentennial Acres up north, Fort Wayne, and there's something where that Cedar Creek area is the longest, one of the largest contiguous old growth forests in the north of
I think
Indiana.
so. Something like that. Yeah.
And so when you're walking through Bicentennial, it's beautiful. It's there's huge trees. It's glorious. And then you get out and you take a left out of Bicentennial and you go to all these subdivisions and you think to yourself, oh, this used to all be Bicentennial.
Well, it's so funny because there was like Hawks Retreat and Fox Run. And I'm like, but where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mallard's
Yeah.
Roost, all these things. Sorry.
It's crazy.
I caught out a specific one.
That always, that's what every time I leave there, that's what I think. Oh, this used to all be old growth forest.
Well,
Recently.
And that destroys the corridors that Jessica talks about. It's how do those species move from one forest to another forest?
Right.
It just cuts it's just
Well, I
so
think that
human
right
oriented.
there is these animals have to move from one place to another, and I think we see the most devastating part of that meeting of nature and urbanization is on the highways and on the roads.
But
where
some
you
of those
see-
places are like, they're coyote and deer magnets. Like
Yeah.
they're those edge species that thrive there. So like you're not getting maybe some of the birds you guys probably like to see in those old growth forests or whatever.
Right.
Hooded
Although some of the-
warblers.
Some
Yeah.
of those.
I guess it's always warblers. So I'm just going to assume warblers.
Just say warbler.
Right now,
That'll be fine.
during the migration, it's warblers. It's all
warbler
warblers all the
season.
time.
No, I like waterfowl too.
How does urban noise, light pollution, and then fragmentation affect wildlife?
I know
in these
very
areas?
minimum about this, but I know there's impacts. There's what they call it soundscape ecology, that there's some great, he's out of Purdue. I don't know. But there's some soundscape ecology that they're talking about, that like the sounds that really do affect wildlife and
Right.
movement. And then
That affects me every damn day,
And
you know?
the lights with birds. I mean, I'm sure that's guys to like kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
the lights with birds, and then that's a big issue. So the number one reason we're losing wildlife across the planet is loss of habitat.
Right.
And part of that's fragmentation. And then number two is invasive species. So like when you're planting like not just non-native, but specifically invasive species around your
Yeah.
house, then you're like taking them, it's taking over and taking away valuable habitat for our native wildlife that we want. And, in urban areas where you kind of get sold into like these certain landscaping plants, I'm
Cosmetic gardening.
I'm sure like Dr. Marshall talked about the calorie pair and, all these things that people really, really like because they have this traditional aesthetic. And I'm learning that our view of what a lawn should look like goes back to like ancient Rome. So we have some like deep seated like
Yeah.
value of manicured lawn that we have to like unlearn.
And it almost drives me crazy now. Like I'd rather have just like a wild yard.
It really is
Well, you don't
nuts
need
to
a
think
wild
about that.
yard,
We've
though.
developed these machines that we pay hundreds to thousands of dollars for to make sure our little grass is just.
Well, and I know people
Perfect.
who love to mow. I don't get it personally, but they genuinely.
It's a craft, you know?
And a freshly cut yard does smell nice.
It does, but it doesn't have to. I mean, like, but you could also
Birds seem
treat
to like
the
it.
yard with chemicals that are friendly towards the environment. You can plant things around the yard, so it doesn't have to be that
It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
all or nothing. Exactly. There's a lot of things that you can do around your house to be able to promote native species,
Yeah.
including planting native species.
And don't put mulch around your trees.
Or don't do it the wrong
let
way, yeah.
Some other
Yeah.
plants
Donuts
grow
are
up
good.
around.
Volcanoes are bad. Donuts of mulch around your tree.
Oh.
Forrester
So-
taught me that. Yeah. So put a donut of mulch around your tree. Volcano's bad.
Donut,
No volcano.
no volcano. You hear that, Travi?
I hear it.
I can
Okay.
picture that.
Are there some species that are like in your 10 years or over 10 years of work, or have there been some species in your experience that have been evolving to be better in an urban environment?
So there's some of that. I know that coyotes, there's a general trend towards more nocturnality because they're like, okay, fine. If you're going to be up later, I'll just move later. Raccoons and problem
Yeah,
solving
that's
to get
like
out
the
of
number
traps.
one
Raccoons
freaking
problem
thing.
solving. Yeah.
With their little fingers.
I love and I hate
I love it.
raccoons.
They're-
I've caught so many raccoons on my porch, or when I leave for work in the morning, there's little raccoon paw prints.
Oh man.
And I just think it's the cutest.
And I mean, that's
You know?
probably, they're one of the best
"Aw."
adapters
Oh, they're so adaptable. Yeah.
and around cities and people.
I mean-
Surely.
This is going to sound bad, but you remember when we were talking about owning a monkey a while ago?
A capuchin.
Capuchin.
Or any monkey? When you guys were talking about that in my
I
mind,
hope they
it was a
become
raccoon.
invasive.
Oh.
I am laughing so hard because this is like a debate my husband and I have had.
Yeah.
He's like, why wouldn't we a monkey? I said, we're not getting a monkey.
It,
be so
it would
cool.
be awesome until you watch the documentaries
Is that a
about
dude
monkey
thing?
owners
Wanting a
arms
monkey?
being ripped
Well,
off.
it's
Like
different when you're
Tarzan
getting
or
like
something?
chimps and stuff.
Dude, that
don't
capuchin
know.
monkey
No
could
way.
still rip your
I'm
face off.
shaking.
I had a negative interaction with one as a kid, and I'm like, no, primates, man, are a hard line of no.
It
Would you
does-
love a raccoon,
Not messing
though?
with them.
Just,
I
just
want to, and I think like that's probably what drew me in. Like, you always want to touch the cute, cuddly things.
Yeah.
But like, it's really just a bad idea.
I know. I wouldn't touch it. I just want one. I just want to
You
find
would
a
love
baby
how
and
it
be like,
grabbed the little things you threw it.
I just want to find a baby.
My dad had a pet raccoon growing
See,
up.
I just want to find a baby and be like, well, looks like you got to come home with me, bud.
Get a permit first.
I wouldn't do it. I'd probably turn it into
Oh,
some
you gotta get a
local
permit
official.
to have
When
a
they're
pet
cuter.
raccoon?
Yeah. So
I didn't even know it was an option.
So most animals, if you're taking it from nature, and this is a really hard conversation I have, and tis the season because a lot of babies are out.
Mhm.
a lot of people see these baby animals and they care so much, but a lot of times they're really harming those babies long term. A lot of people are like, well, I watched for a whole hour and it's not, the mom didn't come back. I'm like, yeah, that's not enough time. Like, give it space. I don't know. I would feel, I don't know. You're a parent. I don't know. Are you guys parents?
No.
But like, how would you feel if someone was staring at you? Like, are you taking care of your kid?
Yeah. We're,
Like, I would feel weird about that.
I agree. I would never do it.
That's people send me pictures of like a newborn, like a bird, a fledgling, just sitting in one spot for a while. And that's what I'll say. I like the parents know, like they'll call, the parents know where they're at.
Yeah.
They'll just let them chill.
Fawns right now are really big. They are made to lay and just hold still until mom comes back.
We've run into like at his family farm. Like, remember that one time on a
just
four-wheeler?
laying.
Like, we stopped the four-wheeler and looked over and we're like, oh,
3
shit.
feet standing
Yeah,
right next to it. Just still as
Yeah,
can be.
because that is what I mean. That's a survival technique.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
stay bedded down.
Yeah,
till
but we
mom
didn't
gets
see it.
back, and you're going to be good. You won't be hunted. Nothing
No,
will see
that's
you.
that kind of can backfire in the agricultural, like in the fields, because the babies will just lay down and won't move, and that equipment will
It's
just
hard,
go right
yeah.
on
Oh
top.
God, jeez.
Don't
I
do
know
that.
it's-
Don't
I'm
do
not
that.
celebrating.
I know it's the
I'm
truth,
just
but
telling
It's the truth. It's hard.
Man, that's a sad thought.
Well, and that's the other part too. Is this is gonna sound so harsh. So feel free to edit as you need to. But wildlife dies every day if we don't see it.
Right.
And even like I said, I am a consumptive user. I actively hunt and fish annually. And it is still hard. It's still a life, right? The population levels are fine. So that's why people do get frustrated. They call DNR like, aren't you going to save it? Unfortunately, no. The answer is no. And like everybody wants to go to a rehab. Rehabbers fill up too. And they're not state employees. They're not required to take in wildlife.
Yeah.
Right.
So if they fill up and for any reason can't help you, like have a plan before you capture the animal. I get a lot of people like, well, I caught it. Now what do I do? It's like, well, have a plan before you catch it. And as harsh as it sounds and as mean as it sounds, like I try to encourage people, save rehabbers if the injury is human induced. Wildlife does have to die in order for other wildlife to be healthy. And it's harsh. It's harsh and it's not fun. But when you care, think about how you're caring.
I get excited when I see other animals like kill other animals naturally. It's fun to watch. Patty and I
Hard. It's
watched
hard.
it.
Well, it's interesting to watch.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Sorry.
well,
Like watching that Cooper sock snatch up a blue jay.
well, and
That
it's
was
totally
really
going to
cool.
go like down to like, I don't know.
And
The
it's
first
natural.
time I heard a coyote get a rabbit, I was terrified.
it's horrible.
It's
to hear.
horrible. And
The sound is nuts.
I have to like remember that emotion of like, I remember vividly running in like, Dad, there is something in the woods, but like, it's hard. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me like 2 years ago now, we were watching some nature documentary with the kids and I said, you could probably edit this out. It's a total digression, but they had like these wolves attack a coyote and I go, oh, and my
wow.
husband's like, what? I said, I now know why they never put sound in the wildlife documentaries. He goes, what do you mean? I said, that sounds awful. I can guarantee you that sounds awful.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can-
that's a good call.
A pack of canines together
Yeah.
going crazy
Yeah,
on
and I was
something.
sitting there, I was
That's a
like- I was like,
brutal
oh,
sound.
no.
We
Like-
heard that in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We heard
Yeah.
them like a pack. See, I don't know if do
Family group?
coyotes go in packs.
Oh, yeah.
They're more often family groups.
And
Yeah.
so they were like circling the mountain, like chasing something, and we heard it like it was pitch
And you
black
could hear
out.
them when they found something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's I mean, yeah.
It sounds like they're ripping whatever it is just into
and
tiny
I
little
recently,
pieces.
and coyotes have this really cool, it's called the Biologist effect. So I don't speak French, so I apologize. But
You're fine.
like,
Northern
We don't either. Yeah, we're not.
but
We-
there's multiple studies that once there's 3 or more coyotes vocalizing, you can no longer accurately determine the number of coyotes that are calling because
Oh.
they have this ability to make them appear more than they are.
Oh.
And it works on other canines and it works on humans.
That's badass.
so it's
Dude, that's
pretty.
that Braveheart effect. Stand behind
That's
this
a
mountain,
survival
and
mechanism.
scream, dude, scare the shit out of them,
Don't mess with them.
out of your army.
But it's really fascinating.
That is really fascinating.
It's like a war cry. Yell out. There's a ton of people in there, but there's
Isn't
only
that the
like
art
a
of
few.
war? Like he talks about, whatever that is about. Just making yourself bigger and screaming. There's battle tactics where they would stand in a forest and make Civil War, where they would
Oh,
make
yeah.
tons of sounds, scream, shoot, light off
Yes,
rounds.
yes, I
Gibson in the
remember. I read
picture.
that in the Civil War book. Yeah,
thank you. And then
Yep.
scare this other. They would just walk away because they're like, well, "Fuck that!" And then 20 dudes walk out of the woods.
Samurai
Yeah.
with their masks on, like coming through the woods.
That's why I'm screaming.
Fear.
I do really want to see a wolf someday. Like I do, but I don't.
I would love to from afar.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like,
I
you
like
have to
that
be
from
pretty
afar.
far.
Yeah, for sure.
Like with my bins or my camera.
I
really
think for
far.
me, it was one of those. I don't know what age it was. It was probably some documentary or probably a coyote getting a rabbit where there was that epiphany where I think at some point when you're losing your childhood kind of dreamy nature or world, that you realize that that nature is so brutal.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
and it's really interesting because I think I take for granted, like, it's such an interesting conversation. So my daughter, when she was 2, my dad successfully harvested a deer off our property.
Yeah.
And I said, yep, he got a deer. If you go get ready for bed, you can see him. And my husband pulled me aside. He did not come from a hunting family. And he said, shouldn't we have talked about this? And I said, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't think about it. My whole life, this was normal.
Yeah.
This was normal for me. And it never occurred to me that, you know, maybe this is not normal for everybody.
Right.
So like, you know, the next time we were very good about like we had her out there. She helped us field dress a deer. We just said, hey, if you have questions, let us know. If you feel uncomfortable, let us know. And, you know, my dad's like, well, you don't have to say that. I'm like, no, but she needs to know she's not forced to do that.
Right.
So like, it's something that I think I take for granted, but some people are not, and that's okay. It's valuable to be a non-consumptive user, but you have to really think about some of those things.
Good point.
Even explaining the reasoning behind it, I think is to non-hunters and stuff.
Oh yeah, we talked about like hey, you remember that chili we had earlier today? There was venison in that, and this is how we get our venison.
And venison chili is good, no doubt about it. How do you measure success in urban wildlife management?
Damn, that's a good question, Penny.
That's a good question. So it kind of depends. If it's for wildlife, I think if we leave the conversation, they're less either angry or they're at least feel, they maybe don't have to like it, but they at least have an understanding of what's happening and what they can do to make it better. I think that's really big success. Or for like habitat, if they choose to like put in habitat, and a lot of times I never know if they do or do not, but then I get a call, that's what I saw on my property. That's just so cool.
Oh yeah.
I think
so
just
cool.
getting people educated about it is
and
like,
it's so hard because I'm a person who just loves to learn different things, but then I have these amazing coworkers like, you know, education alone doesn't work. All the studies tell you that. So trying to find that why. I'm trying to be better about what do you want to see and what like makes you tick, and trying to find that connection.
I think it comes down to being what we talked about earlier is being that good teacher, that special kind of teacher that sparks curiosity. You can inform millions of people every day and never move the needle, but you have to have that ability to spark that passion.
That's a good call. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I imagine just knowing you for the last hour or so, I imagine that when you show up to somebody's property and you're walking around like that, she'd be the person I'd want to show up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, nice.
Let's
Thank you.
chat. Let's get down to business here. And
we don't want a Datillo, you know?
I'm not going to say anything.
Sorry.
That's between you and Dr. Datillo. One more towards the Science City Ecology, so Travis doesn't get burnt, dude.
He's not listening.
We had a geologist on and paleontologist from PFW as well. Travis and him have quite the history. Which is why I'm not saying anything. What excites you the most or gives you hope about the future of urban wildlife?
I genuinely think there's just more of this interest there, and it's kind of cool. Like so as fraught as some of the development may feel like, and I tell people this all the time, I'm like, you may feel like you're the only person fighting this battle, but there's a lot of people out there, and I think, I don't know, it just makes me feel good because like the people that are wanting to do the stuff on the habitat that are into conservation, they're really a supportive group, and like that sense of community is really, really cool. And I
agree.
Wait, say that. I heard you. I just say that.
I heard you. He just wasn't listening.
The sense of community is that part.
I heard that part, but sense of community in what?
Like more people getting interested.
Like they're just interested in like. I think people are starting to ask the questions and they want to do habitat. They are getting more. And I think it's not fair to say, because I think a lot of people in my line of work will say, well, urbanites just don't care about wildlife. And I used to be one of them, but I think I'm learning it's just a different connection. Like if they have a bunch of invasive plants in their backyard, but that's what they think of nature, like that is their nature. So you have to kind of learn to meet people where they are.
Dude, we promote that all the time. And that's what I thought you said. And
Yeah.
I one of the big kind of side effects, one of the most positive side effects of us doing this podcast is the amount of people that reach out to me on a weekly basis, friends, family, whatever it might be, listeners from around the world that reach out to us, and they're just sharing like a photo of a bird, or they're sharing like a story about they went on a hike. I have a friend that's
awesome.
been in
It's
southern
really
Indiana
cool.
for a week.
I'm pretty
Corey
sure me and my
Gaudette
mom
is
have
out
made a new
backpacking.
connection.
Yeah.
And he was super afraid. He's a bigger, very big gentleman. Not big, but like big. He's just a big
tall,
old boy.
big dude.
Yeah.
And he was always so concerned about going hiking and backpacking because he thought it would just kill him. And now for a week, he's been out exploring Marengo Caves. and
Especially because our
Clifty
thing's
Falls.
like, we'll do like 8 miles a day backpacking. We're not doing like 20, 30 miles
Yeah.
a day backpacking.
We're out there for the experience.
We just want to be outside.
So I imagine that, I mean, in our little realm, that community is awesome, and it's been growing. Our community has been growing and growing. We have people, we've talked with Birch up in Detroit that has the Arboretum, and this guy was an English high school teacher and just found this passion of just like Johnny Appleseeding his way through Detroit. And now he has some of the
It's so
largest
incredible.
sequoias in the Midwest, or in Detroit, Michigan, in Hamtramck, or Poletown, which is generally considered the hood, you know? And this guy, his goal is to make Detroit the greenest city on earth. Because
And it's
where else?
Absolutely beautiful. You should go.
We
up
walked
there.
for
It's
2
incredible.
hours through quote unquote the hood.
I feel like
and
we
it
tell
felt like
everybody
we were in
go
the
up
woods.
there.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
I'll have to check it
It's
out.
something
It's
crazy.
absolutely amazing. And so, yeah, I heard you, and I just wanted to say, like, I totally get that the community around this, and you can tell that there's a spirit of conservation, no
Yep.
matter who it is. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
I really get that feeling. Everybody we kind of talk to, there's
just anyone. Everybody's doing their little part.
yeah.
Well, I
And
feel like
that's pretty cool.
the short amount of time that I've been birding, I go to Solomon Farms a lot.
Yeah.
And that, I don't think that's seen because they have the big loop trail that goes around the outside. The puffer belly goes right next to it. So I don't think a lot of people think of that place as like a naturey
Sure.
kind of outdoors place, but there is a ton of trails that are off of the paved trails that you can hike around. I'm out there a lot, and people see me like looking at a tree, like trying to find something. And it seems like more and more and more recently, people ask, like, "What are you looking at?"
What are you
Yeah,
looking at?
yeah.
What's
Like
going
there's
on
an
here?
indigo
Well,
bunny.
and I've also learned, so like I'd imagine probably some of us are in the same thing. Like if I went out west, like I want to see a grizzly, a mountain lion,
yeah.
I want to
Oh,
see
yeah.
like the big, but
Wolf.
like it's okay
Those
if
badass
someone
things.
seeing a cardinal on their bird feeder feels that same way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like I had to
Yeah.
learn that. I was like, yeah, that's fair. Like if that is their like exciting moment, like why?
Oh,
like who
yeah.
am I to tell you that that's not cool?
I think
That's
that
right,
was
that's right.
when Jabin was on. I think we all kind of all agreed, and Jabin said the cardinal was his most underrated bird, and the blue heron is like his favorite bird. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I love seeing blue herons, and I
Yeah.
love seeing cardinals.
But it's just such a normal bird.
They're
and
very
Jabin,
common around here.
Part of the Kosciuszko Audubon Society. Been taught a lot. He was my old biology teacher, and just for him to be those two birds, like you would just kind of imagine that
Yeah.
somebody that's so into birds that there would be some crazy species
think
of avian creature.
There's
feel like I'm
like
the same
you
way, so I
reach
can
a
relate.
certain
Yeah.
level, and then you come back to your roots.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sure, I'm
yeah.
sure,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a good way to put it.
That is
I
a good way
agree.
to put it, Trevi
Yeah.
J. Way to go. Way to go, Trevi
Thank
J.
you. Thanks, Patrick. I needed that
Well,
acknowledgement.
you said I had a good question earlier, so I'm returning the favor, bro. Is there an animal you personally admire the most in the urban environment?
So I don't know. I'm a snake person. I did my research on Massasauga rattlesnakes with Dr. Mark Jordan at Purdue Fort Wayne. So I like snakes. I get really excited about snakes. I don't see
Yeah.
them often.
I'm
I feel
embarrassed
like
that
snakes are a very divisive.
They're very. I
Species
had
of
one
animal.
person call me and he was very angry, and he said, "You will come out and you will kill all the snakes on my property." And you know, those are the days where I have like rough days. So I was like, "I will not."
Like what? You're telling me to do what? now?
Yeah, but like there's still that mentality, and that's why it's like, and we were talking about like the wildlife interactions, and there's this like assumption if you call DNR, whether me or a law enforcement, we're gonna just come out there and deal with it. And unfortunately, that's not true. Like most state agencies have like animal control operators that you can use for hire for that, because that is, we would get absolutely nothing done.
Like Fort Wayne has animal control.
But Fort Wayne Animal Can Control, because if I feel like Fort Wayne Animal Can Control has jurisdiction over domestic animals.
Oh.
And DNR does not have jurisdiction over domestic animals. So like,
that's interesting.
so a lot of people, they get really upset. They call these humane societies and they're like, why, or the animal care and control, like, why aren't you taking this? Well, because of like jurisdictional allegations.
What if Travis's pet capuchin monkey escapes? Is
I
that
don't
a
know.
domestic or a wild?
I am totally sending that to someone, not me.
He's feral.
I imagine
I
like,
would probably contact the preventing biologist to be like, hey, do you have someone that has an escaped capuchin monkey? That's what I
and
would
this
probably
monkey
do.
knows karate, so
I mean, like, honestly, though, do you know, like,
knockout ducks.
primates go after face and hands.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not,
Oh,
that's
that's so
not something I want to
terrifying.
fight.
terrifying.
Do you guys remember the Lucas of the chimp
yeah.
story? Yeah, like, that
Yeah.
did me in.
Yeah,
that, like,
that's-
solidified no
I'm
primates.
right there with
Is
you.
that the lady that got ripped apart?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
funny
I
was
about that.
when we were in Costa Rica, the capuchins, some of them
They're little thieves.
came down to the ground.
Yeah.
And that's when me and Sarah were like, oh, shit just got real. Like, we
Yeah.
need to move it along.
Battle
now.
time.
When I
battle
went to
time.
Costa Rica, I went for a class and we put our stuff up on the beach because tides are a thing that I don't understand. But they were like stealing people's stuff. And I was like, hey, like,
Oh,
No.
dang. Yeah. Yeah.
stop.
It's
They're confident.
crazy.
I imagine when we're talking about this, like in a cop drama where like the FBI shows up and like the local police is there and they're like, this is our jurisdiction. And they're like, well, take it up with my superior, bub. And then like, so you have these two people fighting over who's going to take over this crime scene. I don't know.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, so would I. So would I. So would I. Oh, that'd be great. Oh, now I'm in my brain. Do you have a moment in your career that made you think, this is why I do this?
Yeah. And it actually wasn't too long ago.
Oh, right.
And in fairness, I don't know where the project is at now. I haven't heard contact, but that's okay. So there's a woman who is around the Indy area where the developer put in this new HOA and they had, I think, about 16 acres that was just grass that wasn't being done with anything, but it's because it was near like a creek, they couldn't do much with it anyway. And she was like, hey, you just mowed this all down, do something with it. They essentially told her to kick rocks. But then she was like, well, no, this is just wasted space that we're mowing and it's not even good stuff.
Yeah.
It's like thistle. And she got in contact with the district biologist down there who called me because it was urban. And she's like, I feel nuts because no one's listening to me. I said, okay. And I realized like there's a lot of people in my world, but I realized like it's easy for me to understand because I've lived it for 8 years. But then I realized, okay, like let me get everyone at the same time at your property. So we did that. We got her set up. We got her some funding, got her some good like recommendations. And then we followed up with a couple months later and she actually got pretty emotional, which surprised me. And she's like, I just thought I was nuts. And like someone finally listened to me.
Oh.
Like, so it was really cool to hear that. Now, I don't know if the project's still ongoing, but like at least she had
Yeah.
a moment of like, I'm not crazy, but it is a lot of work to take on like 16
Oh,
acres
yeah,
in
that's
a
a
highly
huge-
urbanized area.
Yeah.
Man.
And that sounds like it could be but that sounds like, I mean, that's big enough to where it seems like a non-for-profit would
It's
come
hard.
in. And,
It's
yeah,
hard.
that's a big spot.
That is an awesome moment, though.
It was pretty cool.
Good for you and good for her.
That's awesome.
I love
Yeah.
that. Only thing I have left, dudes, is the rapid fire questions. We started doing this with our guests a few guests ago. I just think it's a fun way to kind of wrap it up. We've gone through a ton. We spent a lot of time with you, Jessica, and I appreciate your time down here. But I think old Bradley R is going to go ahead and take these over. So go ahead, Bradley R.
Imagine the rapid
That was for
fires?
Brad's mom. He did not like me calling Bradley D.
Yeah.
I had questions about that.
Yeah,
His-
go ahead.
I'll answer him. His middle name is Richard. Patty decided to call him Dick.
No,
Bradley
you
Dick.
did it. You did it first. And
And my
Well, I
grandpa-
have executive privilege through
that's
a
true.
grandfather clause.
your grandfather did. I still have a lot of work to do with this family, like me.
Gotcha.
And my grandfather's name was Richard, and he went by Dick, and I'm
Okay.
named after him.
That's very
So
complicated.
Bradley D. But my mom's like, your name's Bradley R.
Well, rapid
Anyways.
fire, baby.
Sorry.
Most misunderstood urban animal in Indiana.
Canada geese.
Oh,
Ooh.
misunderstood.
Why do you think they're misunderstood?
They're just passing through, bro.
So I think that people kind of forget that they are a conservation success story. And everyone just is so angry that they're there, but like they thrive where turf grass meets water, which is urban areas and next to waterways. And a lot of people get angry at them, but like they're a conservation success story, but because they're not rare, I keep doing air quotes, you guys can't see it, but like because they're not rare, people don't like appreciate them sometimes for what they are.
I find when they're hanging out a lot at like those businesses that have the water drainage ponds or whatever. So, and those are the only animals around those ponds.
Yeah.
Turf grass is like their favorite food next to water. So we're like creating good habitat for them, and then we're mad that they're using the habitat.
So the only people they're pissing off are the people that
That's right.
own that.
But hold on, Travis, this is rapid fire.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah,
Number
sorry.
2.
I forgot.
And their goslings are cute.
Yes,
One species that thrives in cities better than people expect it to.
definitely coyotes.
I could see that.
Me too.
Where do they get their main
Rapid
meal?
fire, Travis.
Travis, rapid
I just want to know the main meal.
In Indiana, from my understanding, their favorite food is rabbit.
Rabbit. Okay.
Oh,
Done.
nice. They're everywhere.
Didn't you want to know? Glad I asked that question.
Yes, kind of.
Bird feeder or native plant garden?
100% native garden.
Oh, she's still there. Okay,
Nice.
good.
Night shift wildlife call or early morning field survey?
I'm a morning person by nature. I love like hearing the woods wake up. I just love the early morning.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was something we went to the Ball Nature Preserve.
Okay.
Me and Chad, kind of our bird father.
I love it. I love
Yeah, he
it.
is. Yeah.
And that was, he wanted to get there like at 6:30 or to hear the morning, like the forest come alive. And it was
Yeah, I
pretty,
mean,
it was-
like growing up hunting, I would always pick.
yeah. It is,
I really like just sitting and just watching it.
it is glorious. I do have to try to find a kingfisher every now and then.
Okay.
Are they morning
Rapid
birds?
fire. Rapid fire bird nerd.
Night shift.
Yeah,
One word to describe urban coyotes.
Promiscuous.
Resilient.
Oh, Lord.
I was gonna say like Wiley seems too on the nose, but like
that's perfect.
Wiley. Wiley
That's
is
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah,
Son
that's
of a
great.
bitch.
I love
They knew
Roadrunner.
it back then.
Yeah, Looney Tunes had it right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was curious about that just because I'm super uber curious about people's stuff about coyotes. I'm just interested. Is that all 5?
I mean, like, but everybody like loves birds. They're like they mate for life. I'm like, cool. So do coyotes. So like, why is that not like a selling point for coyotes?
Because coyotes aren't as colorful and they're considered nuisance.
They're vicious wild dogs.
No.
So there's actually a fun podcast that we actually have on our website, or not a podcast. There's a webinar on our website that you can get to from a Purdue person who's like expert in coyotes. And they said, I think in there, it's like you're more likely to be struck by an errant golf ball or champagne cork
Exactly.
than be attacked by a coyote. And most of the issues with coyotes come from being fed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
well,
I
it
have-
almost seems like
If you get killed,
does
you
a lot
probably
of
deserve
hate
it.
to coyotes come from hunters, like they're killing the fawns.
I don't know. I think
Farmers, maybe.
That's what I've always.
when I
farmers?
went to like the trappers college, I had the opportunity to go there, and I think at one point there was like this research about like how rampant they were, and like if you get rid of them, like that's the way. But they're compensatory breeders, so like
Yeah.
when you get rid of them, they'll have more babies.
Make-
So like I think from my understanding, there was some big research that they preliminary put out these results, and then they realized that they were not like after final analysis that was not the correct thing. So like people kind of latched onto it, and I think they're just misunderstood.
I have
That's how I feel about it. The misunderstood thing
Misunderstood.
would be, yeah, absolutely.
that brought me to a question is are there any efforts going into trying to come to like a mutual agreement with some pest or
Nuisance.
species?
You mean like for like
I don't know, like
Agreement with
with
who?
technology or with
I think a lot of it's just like reframing what you're doing. Like, I don't know. I
mindset.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
mindset and like managing expectations probably.
Okay, yeah.
Like removing all wildlife is not realistic, nor should it ever be the goal.
Yeah.
So like kind of getting people to expect like, you're never going to like, I tell people all the time, like going back to Canada geese, you can remove every last Canada goose there, but you have good habitat, and the
Yeah.
habitat will never hold more than what it can hold. So like the idea of too many or too little is typically, so there's like the biological carrying capacity, which is like the environment will hold what it can hold. But then there's like the social carrying capacity. And that's when people say, well, there's too many of X, Y, and Z
Yeah.
based on whatever their parameters are.
Yeah.
So when people are like, well, you're not managing, well, it's kind of like case by case basis. This community may say there's too many, this community may not. So it just
Yeah.
kind of depends.
And
So
it's
you're
easily
battling
influenceable. Like,
Between
Yes.
like multiple consensuses and with science on,
Right.
on
yeah,
your
because somebody
side.
could run a campaign like geese are great and like all the reasons why geese are great,
Yeah.
and then change the tide of a neighborhood. Or somebody else could run one saying geese are horrible.
And
Yeah,
everything
this
in
guy's-
between.
he's-
Oh, well, like, and you're
His
like lived
wife got
experiences.
killed by a goose.
Right. Well, and like now that I have kids, I have a little bit of a different appreciation. Like, I'm not afraid of a goose. It won't happen twice. But
Right.
like I
Yeah.
have, like I said, I have a 6-year-old. I have, she's probably hating on herself now, but I have a 4-year-old and I have an almost 4 and almost 2-year-old. Like, yeah, I can understand why you're a little bit more worried about a goose like running into your kid on the park. I can get
Oh,
that. I
yeah.
can see that.
They can sound pretty
Hell, I
scary.
ain't trying to walk up
sometimes.
on a goose ever. I
No.
don't want.
Yeah.
Even if I could just easily get rid of it, I'm not trying to.
And that's
Did you
the
just
other-
punt it?
You,
What'd you do there?
can defend
This
yourself
is-
within reason, but most of the time people get hurt by Canada geese because they run, trip, and fall. And then now that you're on the ground, Canada goose is totally going to take advantage of the situation.
That'd be me, dude.
I just see a bunch of old golfers like trying to freaking fight a goose and fall down.
That'd be me.
Those videos are fun to watch.
They are fun to watch. All right, guys. Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
There's a lot more,
I
Patrick,
agree.
and you know. But
Well, hopefully we've done a good enough job.
we only have
where if we
so
call
many
Jessica
gigabytes.
back, she'll come
Please
back
keep
and we
in
can ask her.
contact. I
Yes.
would love to like communicate and put plugs in. And
Awesome.
thank you all for
Man,
having me.
Yeah, Jessica, thank you very, 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 very much for coming on the podcast, coming down to the studio. Fantastic time. I hope you come back and join us again.
I'd love to. Thank you.
I have one last request, and we can get a picture in front of the DNR truck.
Yes.
Sure.
All right.
You guys ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I told you I was long winded. I'll
keep on sauntering, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
See ya.